During my internship days, I stayed in a boys' hostel on the 11th floor, which happened to be the topmost floor, with only the roof above us. I shared the room with my roommate, who often stayed with his girlfriend, leaving me alone most of the time. Those were the days when I was preparing for the NEET PG exam, and I would watch Marrow videos late at night. One night I heard loud thuds coming from above. Then a pause. It was as though someone was continuously running back and forth. Since it was a boys' hostel, I assumed that the person above me might be playing, dancing, or engaging in some activity. However, my world turned upside down when I realized that no one actually occupied the space above me. It was just an empty and dark area. This realization filled me with fear. The next day, I pleaded with my roommate to spend the night in our room. He laughed it off, suggesting that it might be my imagination playing tricks on me. But as it turned out, it wasn't a mere hallucination. One day, when my roommate returned, he heard the same unsettling sounds. Followed by a pause. His face turned pale, and I shouted, "Who's there?" The footsteps abruptly ceased. I was on the verge of saying, "I told you so," when suddenly we heard the thud sound moving down the stairs toward our room with an angry intensity. I grabbed a kitchen knife and my roommate tightly held the door handle, ready to prevent anyone from entering. However, ghosts don't conform to the laws of the living. After the thud stopped, there was a loud crash, and then, terrifyingly, the bed seemed to shift slightly, as if someone who had been running had collapsed onto it. Needless to say, sleep eluded us that night. The following day, we questioned others if they had heard the same sounds, and indeed, they had. We even reached out to previous interns who had lived there, and their experiences mirrored ours. It was evident that this wasn't a figment of our imagination. When we inquired with the guard, he recounted a tragic incident during the building's construction involving a worker who lost his life on the spot. However, he clarified that the worker died in a different building, located about 20 meters away from ours. The question remained, why would the ghost of the worker be running at 3 a.m.? From that point onward, the sounds became more frequent. Initially occurring around 3 a.m., they later manifested at 11 p.m., and even 7 p.m. I recall hearing the sounds at 3 p.m. on one occasion. Even on the last day of my hostel stay, the sounds persisted. Some suggested that it might be a cat, but the intensity of the sounds was far beyond what a cat could produce. Besides, the logistics of a cat reaching the 11th floor were questionable, considering the roof door only opened every 3 weeks. To this day, the mystery remains unsolved. When we reunite, we often discuss the experience, and it never fails to send shivers down our spines.